Hello everyone. Welcome to your Easy Guide to English section for CLAT examination series. And today we are continuing with our English grammar section, that is parts of speech. And the part of speech that we are going to cover today is called preposition. So let's dive into it and see what prepositions are. Now, prepositions may be defined as a word or a group of words that comes before a noun or a pronoun to show its connection to something else. It may tell you about the direction, about the place, time, method, or source. So the word pre before the term preposition itself shows that it is placed before something. So it's placed before a noun or a pronoun to show its connection to the object. So you can think of it like a bridge. It connects noun or a pronoun to another words. So let's try to understand this with the help of examples. Sheena was in the kitchen. Now here the word in is the preposition and it is establishing a connection between noun Sheena and kitchen. So where was Sheena? She was in the kitchen. So it is telling the place where Sheena was. Similarly, she slipped off the stairs. So the preposition of in the statement is establishing a relationship between the pronoun she and stairs. So where did she slip off from? From where did she slip? She slipped off the stairs. Okay. Similarly, we are proud of our country. So the preposition of is establishing a relation between we and country. So we are proud of our country. So of what we are proud of our country. So this is like a bridge. So if you have to remember what preposition is in one word, bridge, establishing connection between noun, pronoun and the rest of the statement or the object. It could be anything. So some of the common prepositions are at, in, on, off, through, below, with, by, under, above, into, out of, across. So even the glimpse of these words would give you a sense that these are telling you about the position mostly. And like the word itself, like it can't be clear enough. The word itself is telling preposition. So usually it is placed before and it gives you the position in terms of direction, place. It could also give you time, method, source, all those things. Okay. So as we look more into this, as we proceed further into our lecture, we'll understand what prepositions are in a much more detailed manner. Okay. So let's start with rule 1 of how prepositions are used. It will also help us better understand what are prepositions. Okay. So the rule 1 says usually a preposition comes before its noun. Sorry, before its object, noun or pronoun. But in some cases, it may come after also. So this is the twist that English grammar throws you. First, it will tell you that it is preposition. So it's placed before, see, pre is there in the word itself. But then it will have some exception. So this is the beauty of the grammar of a language and we have to live by it. So let's see. While we saw that preposition, they come before the object, but in some cases they may also come after the object. And what are those special cases when the prepositions may come after the object? First, when you are asking questions, that is in the interrogative sentences. When you ask a question and use words like who or what, then prepositions may follow the subject. So the preposition like to, about, or for, they may come after the noun and not before the noun. Let's have a look at some examples. So suppose you want to ask that who are two people you talking to. So ask the framing this question like to whom are you talking is wrong. So if you think that preposition to it must come before only, na? So you will place to before whom and you will say to whom are you talking. It doesn't sound very right. It might not be grammatically incorrect completely, but it doesn't sound right. To whom are you talking? But if you say who are you talking to? So the preposition to coming at the end. So you is the pronoun which is coming before the preposition in this case. So in these interrogative sentences or in these questions, the preposition may come at the end also. Unlike the normal case where the preposition comes before noun or pronoun. Okay. So the case 1, in the interrogative sentences, preposition may follow the object, noun or a pronoun. Another example, about what are you talking? Now, this is very confusing. About what are you talking? No, the right way to go would be, what are you talking about? Again, preposition is at the end. For what are you waiting? It's very confusing. Doesn't make very clear sense of what the question is. So, what are you waiting for? So, in these kind of questions, If the preposition is at the end, it is correct. So it's a special case. Okay. Another special case is when the object is relative pronoun that. So when you describe something using that, then put the preposition is at the end and not before that. For example, this is the book for that I have been looking. No, just because that has been used, the preposition will be following that. It will come after the word that. Okay. So the correct statement would be, this is the book that I have been looking for. Okay. So the for is coming after that. Okay. Similarly, this is the picture of that she always talks. Is it making any sense? Picture of that she always talks? No, it is not. This is the picture that she always talks of. So, of preposition is coming at the end. So, two cases when the prepositions may be coming at the end. One, when we are asking questions, that is interrogative sentences. Two, when we are using the relative pronoun that. In these two cases, the preposition will come at the end. Now, let's look at the third case when the preposition will come at the end, which is when you are using an infinitive form of verb, that is 2 plus verb form of verb after a noun. So, in that case also, you need to add a preposition after the verb. For example, it is not safe to live in. Like, what is live without in? Because you are living in a place. So, live will always be followed by in. Similarly, he gave me a pen to write with. So the word write will always have to be with, because you use a pen and you write with a pen. So these words, you see, if you do not use the preposition, they do not give the complete sense. So common sensically also you can understand that he gave me a pen to write. Like what write? If you don't use the word with, the complete meaning is not coming. So he gave me a pen to write with. To write, I mean an instrument to write with. So the pen is an instrument and with will be used to establish the relationship. But unlike the normal cases, the preposition with is used in the end. Okay. So the rule one is in questions, in relative sentences with the pronoun that, and in infinitive phrases, the preposition may come later in the sentence and not before. Okay. I hope you've understood the rule one. Now let's move to the rule two now. So as a rule, no preposition is placed after the following verbs when these verbs are used in active voice. So you have to remember these words and you have to see that no preposition is placed after these words. Okay. So let's see what these words are first. Stress, emphasize, discuss, investigate, comprise, accompany, consider, violate, demand, resemble, pervade, proceed, succeed, reach, resign, attack, invade, resist, enter, eschew, befall, order, direct, join, sign, affect, ensure, board, describe, await, lack, regret, concern. Now, whenever these words are used, uh, uh, these will not be followed by a preposition. So the police are investigating, and yeah, be mindful. It is talking about active cases and not in the passive cases. We'll understand why. So the police are investigating into the case. So here, investigating word itself is complete. It doesn't need the preposition into to follow. So if something is being investigated, that means it is being looked into. So if you're using into again, this will show that it is looked into. Okay, does it make sense? The police are looking into the case. No, the word investigating itself is showing looking into. So it should not be followed by the preposition. Similarly, in the second example, the teacher emphasized on the need for discipline. No, emphasis is always placed upon something. There is no need to put an on preposition after the word emphasis, because emphasis itself is a complete word. So these are transitive words. They are already having an object. So the word itself is complete. Using the preposition after would only make it repetitive. Again, I have ordered for his transfer is incorrect. I have ordered his transfer. So the word order itself is showing the his transfer has been ordered. I mean the thing has been made. The order has been done. So for should is not required. So you have to remember these words and see that these are complete in their own sense. They do not need preposition to establish the connection. The complete word itself is establishing the connection. Only the use of preposition will make it repetitive. So let's look at some more examples. I shall discuss about the problem with you. Here, discuss itself is establishing the relation. There is no need for the word proposition, the proposition about. So I shall discuss the problem with you. There is no need of about. I mean, you. It makes a complete sense. I shall discuss the problem with you. What is the need of about here? Okay. So about only makes it repetitive and redundant. It's redundant here. It is of no use. So we use the preposition when we see that without the usage of preposition, connection will not be established. But here, these specific words, they are already complete and hence they do not need the preposition. Similarly, Sony resembles with her mother. No, resemble itself shows that there is similarity with. So the word with here is repetitive. So Sony resembles her mother. We do not need the preposition with. Okay. So just keep these words in mind, and also when you are like you do not have to just cram these words, just get a sense that these words itself encapsulate the connection. So there is no need of preposition to establish the connection for them. Okay. I hope this rule is clear. Now, the part B. So the part B says that omit or remove to, the word preposition to, after communicative words like object. When you use the verbs like advise, tell, ask, beg, command, encourage, request, inform, order, or urge, you do not use the word to before these. Okay, because these words again are also establishing the direction or the connection. They do not need the usage of word to, and the usage of the word to only is redundant in these cases. So I advised him to go to market. Yeah, I advised him to go to his professor. Again, to here is not required. I advised him to go. Enough. So advice to him to go is wrong. Advice itself is showing that what I was telling is to him. So I advised him itself is giving some connection vibe. No, you do not need to establish connection between the person giving advice and the person receiving advice. So you do not need to be followed by the verb advice. Similarly, I informed to the police of the accident. It is incorrect. I informed the police of the accident. Here, the word inform is already establishing the connection between I and the police. That I was informing and police was being informed. Without the to, also the connection is clear enough. So these words, they are complete. They do not need the preposition to give the more like broader meaning. So you have to you don't just cram these words, just try to understand why these rules are made. Okay. So I inquired of him. Again, here of is correct because some verbs like inquire of are exception. Exceptions are always there. So by now I hope you've gotten used to them. Now, I've created a summary of some of the words that you might come across in the exam. So, first, try to understand why this rule is the way it is. And then also, once you've understood these, then when you come across these words, even if you do not remember them at the first place, you'll be able to understand that, okay, this word is giving the complete meaning, so they should not be followed by a preposition. So, some of the verbs like investigate, the wrong example would be investigate into the case, because investigate itself means look into something. So here it need not be followed by into. You can directly say the investigate the case. Emphasis or emphasize. Emphasize, again, you emphasize on something. You cannot not emphasize on. So emphasize itself is a complete word giving the sense of emphasis on. So you do not need the preposition on to be followed by this verb. Similarly, order. Order for his transfer is wrong. Ordered his transfer is correct. You do not need the preposition for to be followed by order. Now discuss. Discuss about is incorrect because discuss itself is complete and there is some sort of issue that is being talked about. The word itself gives that sense. So you do not need the preposition about. Discuss the problem. Resemble. Resemble itself means look like. It looks, it is similar to, it is similar with, something like that. So you do not need to use the preposition with because it becomes repetitive then. Resemble her mother. Resemble itself shows it's similar to. Okay. Similarly, attack. Attack a country, not attack on a country, because attack is always done on something. So attack word itself is giving that meaning. No need for a preposition to establish the connection. Similarly, with accompany with me is wrong, accompany me. Similarly, the word comprise. Comprise of is wrong, comprise classrooms is correct. Okay. Now, the second part, the communicative words, that is advise. You do not advise to him to go, you advise him to go. Tell or told, depends on the form. Told to her is wrong. You told her the truth. Ask, asked to him is wrong. Asked him a question. Similarly, inform. Inform itself is giving a sense of people involved, that I informed the police means that I have told the police. There is no need of to establish the connection between me and police. Request, again, request itself is a complete word. No need of preposition to. So requested the manager. Order, again, a complete word. No need of to. Similarly, command need not be followed by to. Encourage, again, need not be followed by to. Urge, again, need not be followed by to. So whenever these words are used in active phases, they do not need to be followed by to. Remember, in active phases, because in passive phase they might be, because in that case the form changes, and then there might be in some cases need to establish a relationship between the doer and the receiver. Okay, so in active phases these words need not be followed by to. Okay, I hope this rule is clear to you guys. Now, we get to the rule 3. It talks about how prepositions are used depending on the object. That may be any noun or pronoun. Now, when giving something to someone, usage of preposition is optional. For example, some verbs, they naturally imply giving or transferring. So there is no need of using the preposition. For example, fetch, buy. Okay. But if you first say the thing and then the person, then you need the words like for or to clarify who is the giver and who is the receiving one. Similarly, the verbs like bring, give, lend, promise, leave, sell, buy, show, take, fetch, tell, hand, to hand something to someone or to give something to someone, send, sing, read, cost, play, find, get, ask, offer. So these words, you can get a sense that they are giving a sense of giving or transferring something. So in front of these, the preposition is optional. It may or may not be used depending on how you are placing the object. So if you are placing the object before, for example, I shall fetch you books from the market. So here no preposition is used because fetch you books. So here you is used before the object books. But if you here you is used before the object's book. But if you were to say I shall fetch books for you from the market, here books, that is the object, is coming before you. In that case, you need the preposition to establish the relationship between the books and the person for whom the books are being brought by the preposition for. Okay, so basically the placement of object is determining whether the preposition is to be used or not. So if the object is placed before the pronoun, in that case, there is a need of using preposition, because in that case it is not clear who is at the receiving end. So I shall fetch you the books. Here fetch you is giving you the relationship itself. You do not need a preposition here. But here, if you do not, in the second statement, I shall fetch books for you from the market. In this case, where books are placed before you, if you do not use the word for, it will not be clear for whom the big books are being brought. Okay. Similarly, I shall buy you this necklace. Here again, there is no need for a preposition in this statement, but I shall buy this necklace for you. Here the necklace is placed before you. Then we need a preposition for to establish the connection, to establish that who is receiving the necklace. Again, will you sing for me? Again, we do not need a preposition here. But will you sing a song for me? Here the song is placed before me. So in this case, we will use the preposition for to establish the connection. So we have to just get a sense that whenever we need to establish the connection in terms of doer and doing, whether to tell the direction, to tell the place, to tell the source, to tell the time, whatever. So we have to see whether without the preposition are the kind of verbs that are used giving the complete sense. If they are not, then you use the preposition to complete or to establish the connection. Okay. Now, another part could be that some verbs must use a preposition to sound complete and correct. So, while there are some verbs who are complete in themselves and they do not need the preposition, at the same time, there are verbs that are not complete and so they really need the preposition to give the whole sense. The word itself does not establish the connection. So after these verbs, if you're talking about giving something to someone, you must add a preposition. And usually the preposition to be added is with. So, or sometimes to also, depending on the word. Okay. So, for example, I provided him with money. So, with shows that you gave him. The word provide, supply, furnish, interest, or present. These are some of the verbs. They are incomplete without preposition. So, they have to be followed by preposition always to establish the connection. Okay. So, I provided money to him. That is also correct because here to is establishing the connection of whom the money is given. So I provided him the money. It shows what you gave him. The to here is showing whom the money is given. I provided him money. Here the connection part is missing. So this statement is wrong. So these verbs, the provide, supply, furnish, what are they doing? These verbs are doing two jobs primarily. They give something like money, document, etc., and they show to whom it is being given. So in this case, to give meaning to this connection, the prepositions must be used. So without the preposition with or to, the sentences they feel broken and half said. So remember these words: provide, supply, furnish, interest, present. Present itself, for example, you can see that present itself is not giving the complete sense. When present to or presented present with, it gives a sense. Okay. So you have to just see whether the word itself is giving the whole sense or not, and accordingly decide whether prepositions are to be used or not. Some of the like examples that you might want to keep in your mind is the word rob. Now one can always rob a person of something. Rob itself is not complete. So he robbed the old woman of her ornament. So rob would be incomplete without the usage of preposition of. Similarly, fine. You fine someone of some amount. So the teacher fined him with 10 rupees. A teacher fined him 10 rupees. Okay. Similarly, the word inform. Inform someone of something. So inform the police of the accident. Explain. Explain something to someone. You're always explaining it to someone. So teacher explained the meaning to us. Recommend. Recommend something or someone to others. He recommended me to the principal. Suggest something to someone. So he suggested this book to his students. Similarly, compensate. To compensate someone for something. I shall compensate you for the loss. So you might want to go over this table and remember these words, so you can see that these words are to be followed by preposition as compared to the previous words that like investigate and all that we did in the previous rule. They are complete. They do not need the preposition to complete them. Okay. Now, rule 4. Now, rule 4 says when two adjectives or words need different prepositions, you must use both prepositions separately. You cannot skip a preposition if it is required for one of the words. So, this is very similar to the rule that we did in the adjective, that there are some adjectives, they need different kind of preposition. For example, the word senior, it will always be followed by to. Senior from would be wrong. Similarly, the word different will always be followed by from. It will not be followed by to. Now, senior and different or some this kind of combination has been used in a statement, then they will require their own respective prepositions. You cannot be lazy and use just one preposition for both. That no, it will make sense. No, it will not. So you have to see what kind of adjective has been used and what is the requirement of preposition for that adjective, and accordingly use it. If you need, you use it two different prepositions. So, for example, he is senior and older than I. It would be incorrect. He is senior to, because the senior takes the pronoun preposition to, and older takes the preposition than. So the word senior and the older, they should be used with their own required preposition. Just one preposition for both cannot be used. That will be incorrect. So he is senior to and older than I. That would be the correct way to go. Similarly, his dress is different and cheaper than mine. It would be wrong because different takes the preposition from and cheaper is like takes the preposition than. So his dress is different from and cheaper than mine. That would be the correct way to go. Now, how do you know if you need one preposition or two? So you decide this, that if both adjectives use the same preposition, use the preposition only once. But if the adjectives need different prepositions, you use two different prepositions separately. So, situation when adjectives connect with the same preposition, use one preposition. For example, she is younger and smarter than her brother. Now, the adjectives younger and smarter both require the same kind of preposition. So, one preposition will do in this case. But adjectives that need different preposition, for example, senior to and experienced than. So, senior requires a different preposition to be followed, and experience require a different preposition to be followed. Then they both adjectives will have their own respective prepositions. Okay. So you, before writing or speaking, just mentally fill in the blanks when you come across the adjectives. For example, you see senior, you know senior has to be followed by to, and you know older, then you understand that older has to be followed by then. And then you check the statement that whether the senior has been followed by to or not, or whether the older has been followed by to or not, or if it is just one preposition denoting the two, in that case it will be wrong. So if it is of the same category, then one preposition is fine. But if it is of different category, and by category here I mean the type of preposition to be following that, then two different prepositions will be used. Okay. Now, here are some of the common adjectives that usually need their own preposition. We have done this in the adjective lecture as well. So, for example, senior, it needs a preposition to. The word different, it needs a preposition from. The word older, it needs a preposition than. The word younger, it needs a preposition than. The word cheaper, it needs a preposition than. And then taller, it needs a preposition than. So, if senior and junior are there, then one single to is fine for both senior junior. But if senior and different are there in one statement, then senior to and different from. But if different and older are the two adjectives being used, then one single from preposition will be fine for both. But different and senior, or older and senior, that would need their own separate prepositions. Okay, I hope it's simple enough. It's simple enough. Okay, now these were pretty much the rules, and now we'll try to understand how some of the prepositions are used. They have similar kind of meaning, so it's important to understand their specific usage and what context which of the two will be used. So the first in this category is between and among. So where do you use the word between, and where do you use the preposition among? So between is used while you are referring to two persons or things, specifically two persons or thing. So it may also be used for two or more in a choice. So choice is always between two or more, then it is between. And among is used while referring to more than two persons or things. So let's understand this with an example. The two brothers divided the property between themselves. So there are two brothers. So the property division is between. The word we use is between, because we see the two brothers at the starting of the statement. The two brothers and their sisters. Now here there are more than two. So in this case, we will use the preposition among. So if two are there, you use between. If more than two choices, then you use the word among. The two brothers and their sisters divided the property among themselves, because there are more than two in the party. Okay, fair enough. Now, beside and besides. So the word beside means by the side of, and besides with an S in the end, it means in addition to. For example, besides studying, he is also working somewhere. So here it means that he's studying, and in addition to studying, he is also working. So when you use the word in addition to, you use the word besides to give that meaning. And when you're just saying beside, that means by the side of. So she sat beside him at the party. That X person is sitting, and she's sitting next to that person, by the side of that person. So beside and beside. So just the inclusion of word s at the end, it changes the meaning of the two words beside and besides. Okay, I hope it's clear. Now, by and with. So by is used to denote the doer of the action, and the word with is used to denote the instrument by which the work is done. So, for example, he struck the dog with a stick. So, here the word with is denoting the stick, which is the instrument by which he struck the dog. So, when you have to denote to the instrument, you use the word with. And when you have to denote the doer, a dog was struck by him. So, by is now pointing towards him. Who struck who was struck, like by whom was the dog struck? By him. So by is pointing to him. So doer of the action. So by and with. By is used to denote the doer of the action, and with is used to denote the instrument by which the action was done. Okay? Simple. Now, the word for, it is used to express time. It could be indefinite time or a specific period of time. For example, for 2 months, for 6 years, for 2 hours. So here it can be like indefinite amount of time or the specific period of time. For example, I shall go to Delhi for 2 weeks. So here for is used to refer to that specific period of time, 2 weeks. He stayed with me for 2 hours daily. Again, 2 hours, for 2 hours to refer to that specific period of time of 2 hours. She has been sleeping for 2 hours. Again, for is used for the time expression. She has been in Delhi for 1 week. Again, for is used for time expression. Okay, this is quite simple. Now, the difference between from and between. So, from is normally used with to, till, or until, and between is used with and. So, he works in the office from 10 to 5. So, we see that from is used with to give a range from what time till what time that person is working in the office. So again, from is giving you a range. It is used, and hence to give you the range, the words to, till, or until are followed by from. And for between, the reception will be held between 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Here again, the time range is being given, but the between itself is complete, and there is no need to use the word to, till, or until after that. Okay. So this is how the words from and between are used. Now, before and ago, again, they are also very similar in meaning, but there is a very slight difference in the usage. Before shows one action happened earlier than the other action. So it is relative. It compares two actions. This happened before that. She had left India before she was married. So the leaving of India happened first and marriage happened later. So it is comparing the marriage and leaving of India, two actions, and telling this happened before that. So that this is the usage of before. Now, what does ago do? It tells how much time has passed from now. So it is absolute. While before is relative, ago is absolute. It directly connects to the present time and counts backwards. So it tells you how much time has been passed. So she left India 2 days ago. So from today, 2 days have passed since she left India. Okay, so it is absolute. It is giving you the time that has passed from today, counting backwards. Okay. Now, in and at. How do you use in and where do you use at? This is very commonly confused words. So here, in refers to like bigger areas, so say to towns, cities, countries in a wider sense. While at, it is used for speaking of comparatively smaller place. For example, a building or a station or a house. So when you want to say he lives in Delhi, because Delhi is like it's a big city, so it's a wider area, bigger area. So you will use the word in. He's working in Dubai these days. So here again, Dubai, I mean, not a big country, but a country. It's like a wider area, not a small area. But if you were to say, we are meeting at the airport. Here, airport is a smaller area. So we use the word at and not in. We are meeting in the airport. No, no. We are meeting at the airport. I am waiting at the bus stop. Again, for a smaller area, you use at. For bigger or the larger area, you use in. Okay. Now, in and into. What is the difference? In denotes position, whereas into shows movement and entrance. So fair enough. The students are in the class, so they are position. Where what is the position of students? They are located, placed in the class. Static. Into is showing movement. The students came into the class. So they were not inside the class and now they have moved into the class. So it is showing the into. I mean, where have they moved? So there is some sort of movement or they entered or that kind of it's not that static as compared to in. In is just showing the location while into is showing the movement. The students came into the class. Okay. So that's the difference. Now on and upon. So here again, on shows the position. Something is already resting on the surface. So no action is happening. It's still. Upon, it shows movement. Something is coming onto a surface. That is, action is happening. So for example, the book is on the table. So the book has been there. It is lying there. It is resting there. No action is happening on the table, showing the position. He threw the book upon the table. So here, the action of throwing is happening. So upon the table, it is telling that something has just come on the surface. It has been thrown. So the action of throwing the book has been done. So it is done upon the table. Similarly, the painting hangs on the wall. It is fixed there. It is positioned on the wall, static. The cat jumped upon the table. So she jumped upon it. Some movement is being denoted by the word upon. Okay. So that is the difference between on and upon. Now, within, in, on, and in good time. So this is also very similar in meaning, but with very minute differences in between. So the within, it means before the time limit ends. You still have some time left and it happened early. So he will return within 10 minutes. That means that person can return in 9 minutes, 8 minutes, 9.5 minutes, but it will happen a little less than in time little less than 10 minutes. So it will mean it will happen slightly earlier. It would be like way more early, but it is happening in the 10 minutes range. That 10-minute range will not be breached. Now, what does the usage of in denote? So, in means at the end of the period or something during it. The action will happen after the full time has been passed. So, he will return in 10 minutes. So, after the 10 minutes are passed, he will return then. So, that means like how long will he take? That means he will at least take 10 minutes. So, he will return in 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes means that he can return in 9 minutes, 7 minutes. He will definitely not breach the 10-minute limit. Okay. Now, the word on, when used with in the context of time, because it can be used in other contexts as well. So, the on means exactly at the correct time, not late, not early. The train is running on time. That means the train, whatever time it was supposed to be running on, it is exactly on that time. So, on exactly the correct time, not late, not early. The phrase in good time. It means early enough, not rushed with time. So you have some time to spare. So it happens comfortably or in a relaxed manner before the deadline. So, like we say, we reached the airport in good time. That means we have reached that airport in a very relaxed manner, and we have ample amount of time to go and have a coffee, maybe or whatever. Like we have reached there. So this is showing that it has happened early enough. So you are relaxed and there is no rush, that kind of thing. So within, in, on, in good time. So these are the slight nuanced differences between these words. Okay. Now till and to or up to. So till is used in time. For example, he studied till 11, he studied 12 till 12. He should be there. He's like you should do it till you should complete your work till 12 p.m. Similarly, to and up to are used for a place or distance. So I went up to Rani Bagh, or I went up to the, I don't know, hill. So place or distance. So up to is used to denote a place or a distance, and till is used to denote. Okay, this is simple. Couldn't be simpler than that. Now, so these were some of the words that you might confuse with. So I have tried to explain the nuanced differences between them. And now these are some of the prepositions that are quite common in the examinations. So I would like you to go over this. Maybe just read. I mean, this is a list of close to 88 to 90 prepositions. Just go over them and just see what they mean, so that when you come across them, you have a sense of what they are and what they are used with. For example, adhere is used with the preposition to, access to, exceed to, addicted to, abide by. So you'll just have a sense of these words. So these are directly asked sometimes. Abstain, and then there will be a fill in the blank. What is the right preposition to fill in that blank? So you should know that abstain is to be followed by from. So he was advised to abstain from drinks. So just go through these. This will be very helpful, because if even if you do not broadly remember all the rules or how things are done, this will help you still solve the questions of preposition. I mean, if you have this list in your mind, I don't think uh, I mean, the list and the rules are definitely the best way to go. But even if you cannot remember the rules very well, this list was going to be it will going to make things very easy for you. So just go through this list. I'll pause at every slide, and so that you can just see what these are. I mean, I'd expect you to pause yourself and just go through all the 10 again and again, like 2, 3 times, and it'll like stick to your mind. I think these are fair enough, and I mean, fairly used prepositions or phrases, and I hope you can understand them. So, abound in, abstain from, exceed to, access to, adhere to, approve of, assent to, acquaint with, addicted to, abide by, accused of, acquit of, adapt to, accustomed to, aware of, beware of, blush at, believe in, benefit from, cure of, So again, pause at this and maybe have a look at the sentences also and understand and try to understand these prepositions better. Let's move ahead. Compete with, comply with, congratulate on, count on your friends, charge with, cope with, contribute to, complain of, deal with, differ from. Again, pause and have a look at them. Right? Differ with, dwell on something to, think upon it. Die of, die from, depend on, eligible for, enamored of, embark on, entry into, endowed with. So again, these are this is very sorted formula kind of thing. If you remember these, you'll not be confused with prepositions ever. Similarly, familiar with, fond of, fascinated by, grieve over, guard against, good at, hear of, hear from, interested in, insist on, invest in, listen to, laugh at, married to, object to, participate in, persist in, pine for, pray for, prefer to, prevent from, provide with, proud of, quarrel with, recover from, refer to, refrain from, related to, remind of, rely on, revolt against, search for, succeed in, smile at, specialize in, stick to, submit to, subscribe to. Everybody would know this one for sure. Sympathize with, tired of. I'm tired of excuses. Think of, think over, trust in, vote for, warn against, wish for, worry about, jealous for. So he's jealous for his country's honor. So these are some of the prepositions that, again, just go over this list by yourself and read these so that they become very normal sounding phrases in your mind. So if you come across spot the error kind of question or fill in the blanks kind of question, you will be very easily able to solve them. Okay. Now, we will do some practice exercise to see if you have understood the things that we discussed. So, first, as we always do, you will attempt these questions on your own. You will pause the video here at this point and you'll attempt the questions and then we'll do them together. So, this is a set of 15 questions. So, first slide is here. Pause and do the questions. And the second slide. Pause and do the questions. Okay, I hope you've attempted the question. Now, let's look at the solutions. The first statement, we should always listen the advice of our well-wisher. Again, listen the advice. What is listen the advice? How, like, whose advice, who's listening? So there is no connection without the preposition to. So, and we have also learned that listen is the word that has to be followed by to. So listen to the advice. So listen always takes to as a preposition to follow it. He closely resembles with his father in the facial feature. Resemble already is complete and it is telling that it is similar to something. So resembles with is wrong. The correct way to go is he closely resembles his father in facial features. Statement third, while taking examination, always write with dark ink. So write with dark ink. We need with here to establish the relation between what is to be written, used for writing and the action of writing. So here the statement, always write with dark ink. The statement is correct. So while taking examination, always write with dark ink. Correct statement. No error. The insurance company has promised to compensate the damage to my house. So the error is in the phrase compensate the damage. The right way to go is compensate for the damage. Okay. So for is establishing the connection here. So we need the preposition for in between. So the error is compensate the damage. The right way to go would be the insurance company has promised to compensate for the damage to my house. What will be the compensation done for? For the damage. Okay. You must revise your answer sheet again. Here, revise and again are like repetition. So you must revise your answer sheet. Finish. That's the correct way to do. He suffered from heart attack last year. So the error is in the from. He suffered a heart attack last year. You don't need to use the word from here. Everybody complains against callous treatment of the police. So complaints against is wrong. Complaints of. We have done it in the table that we discussed in the lecture. So complaints of callous treatment. So everybody complains of callous treatment of the police. So you just have to remember the phrases that we have discussed. So what goes with complaint? Of. She is very popular among her friends and relatives. So no error because there are many people. Had it been she is very popular among say two people, she's very popular between Radha and Sheetal. Then two people we use between. When more than two people we use among. So she's very popular among her friends and relatives. So there are many people. So we use the word among. Hence, no error. The highway robbers robbed all their belongings. So we have done the rob word also in the table. So robbed all their belongings is wrong. The highway robbers robbed them of all their belongings. So the rob will always be followed by the preposition of to give the complete sense. Okay. 10. Would you please ring me up on next Monday? So the error is on next Monday. Ring me up next Monday. No preposition on is to be used before next, last, this, or every. Next day, last day, this day, every day. So there is no need of the word of the preposition on. Okay. Don't quarrel on trifles with your friends. So the quarrel on trifles is wrong here. Quarrel over something. You don't quarrel on something, you quarrel over something. Again, this is in the table that we've done in the lecture. So if you remember those words, you will be able to solve these questions very easily. Now, my house comprises of 5 rooms and is spacious enough for 2 families. Comprises of is wrong. Comprises itself is complete and you do not need of to follow the word comprise. So, my house comprises 5 rooms and it's spacious enough for 2 families. The 13th is there is no cause of anxiety about his health. So, the cause of anxiety, like there is no cause for anxiety about his health. So cause for anxiety. Okay, the correct preposition will be for. So cause for anxiety is the correct phrase here. Okay. Children should be taught to write by a fountain pen. Write by a fountain pen is wrong. Write with a fountain pen. We've done this write one as an example in the previous slides that we did. So the children should be taught to write with a fountain pen. Okay. His employers were compelled to dispense his service. So the error part is dispense his service. The correct way to go is dispense with his service. Dispense is always followed by with. Okay. So his employees were compelled to dispense with his services. Okay. So that's the lecture for today. I hope you've understood prepositions. They are the bridge. They establish the connection. So with this, we end the parts of speech. I think we've done all of them. And I hope you've understood these bricks of grammar and you'll use them correctly and hence become a grammar Nazi maybe. Don't do that. It's very annoying. But speak grammatically correct English and if not that, at least be able to solve the questions in your examination. So thank you so much for your time and patience. I'll see you again. Bye bye.